Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Mullen High School Broadcast Network. This is episode 1, part 3 of the Mullen High School Broadcast Network podcast.
Like I said, we definitely need a name for it. Okay.
Name
pending. So we're going to talk a little bit key games in college football for week 2. So it was just announced that College Game Day will be in College Station. The Clemson Tigers take it on Texas A&M Aggies. Huge game for us as Clemson fans, of course. And it was announced that Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence will split snaps. So it's going to be a 2-quarterback system.
I think that's key. I think that's definitely you're seeing with 2 of the major names in college football, Clemson and Alabama, as of right now. They're both doing the same thing with Tua. I can't even pronounce his last name anymore.
Tagovailoa. Yeah.
There we go.
No, he's going to get the reins. But I think the biggest thing, though, is when you have a 2-quarterback system, the scariest thing for me is, I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was the Roar 105.5. But the biggest thing for me is when you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't want them playing out there scared that they're going to get their job taken. Because if you're Kelly Bryant and you go, oh, maybe I won't throw that risky throw because if I throw a pick, I'm going to get called off and thrown out, and they're going to put in Trevor just like that. And if you're Trevor, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Like, almost scared to throw an interception, almost like scared to make mistakes, and you want them to go out there and be themselves, make their plays.
But like we just said, College Game Day, that's definitely probably one of the better moves to go for this game. It's definitely one of the key games. Texas A&M isn't ranked. The only ranked matchup for Week 2 is USC and Stanford, but those are Pac-12 games, Pac-12 college football.
It's going to be a good game, but I think the biggest thing is, it's starting to become like a narrative that the Pac-12 is struggling. And I think, especially when you look at how they've been left out of playoffs, and I think the playoffs has put it on, like, amped up the amount of attention that it's gotten. Because when you look, okay, the Big Ten's been in the playoffs. The SEC just had 2 teams last year. ACC's in there. ACC's been every year. Big 12's in most years. Where is the Pac-12?
Pac-12 has definitely been silent. They're kind of the odd man out in these Power 5 conferences. But USC, Stanford, the quality of football is definitely going to be with Clemson and Texas A&M, especially it being in Texas A&M.
It's like Kyle Fields, crazy atmosphere. First off, they show up every single time, 100,000 plus, and it's just the biggest thing too is just when you talk storylines. I think when you look, you say Jimbo Fisher going from Florida State to Texas A&M. Where he was rivals with Dabo in the Atlantic of the ACC. Now, they're not going to see each other for a while. And then, of course, the second game of the season, they're going to see each other now. So I think the biggest thing when you look storylines, when you look quarterbacks, also, it looks like Texas A&M found the quarterback in Mond, but now Starkel is their other quarterback. He's right there, too. So it really comes down to it. I think a lot of good things going to come out of this game. Although, of course, the other big one, South Carolina will be hosting Georgia. Georgia, the number 3 team in the country. I'm expecting South Carolina to be like 25-24, honestly, by next week. But the biggest thing for that is, in the state, a whole lot of South Carolina fans want a game day.
Yeah, they definitely want a game day, but with South Carolina's history the past couple seasons, they just weren't going to get it. But Georgia's favored to win this game by 73%. This last game, past week, Georgia, they played Austin P. Won 45-0.
It's cupcake. Yeah.
Yeah. Both all of these teams that we've talked about so far played cupcakes. Clemson played Furman. Texas A&M played Northwestern. South Carolina at Coastal, which is probably one of the best teams that we've mentioned that these teams are playing.
Yeah.
And it's not
even sad. Well, Furman, give them credit. They did go to actually the playoffs last season.
They did second round, and
they
they were out against Wofford. But UGA, Austin Peay, they shut out 45-0. What I think is really impressive about that game is they had 508 yards with 45 points. But I think that's a lot of points for the amount of yards. As we talked about, Texas A&M with 49, but they had 758, which seems a lot more proportional to me. Yeah. So you gotta be thinking UGA's defense did some work that game.
I think the biggest thing though is when you look at that matchup, you got to give credit to that South Carolina crowd that's going to be out there. It's Williams-Brice is going to be crazy. So I think that's one of the things you're going to have to watch out for Georgia the first time they're playing, in this. Because I think the biggest thing is Dabo talked about it a lot when Clemson went from the program that was, we're 7-5 every year to getting that 10-win season every season. You go from being the hunter to the hunted, instead of, we're trying to fight to beat those big teams, all of a sudden you're the big team. So everywhere Georgia goes this season, it's going to be packed. They're going to have the biggest crowd that they're going to face. When they go to play, whatever, they could play Kentucky. They could play them 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock on a Saturday, and it's going to be packed. And you're going to get, every single time they play, they're going to get that team's best game. South Carolina's going to play their best game. They're going to be out there trying to win that football game. Because you want that little extra when you see that little 3 next to Georgia.
So I think now it's time for predictions. Clemson on the road against Texas A&M. What are you going for this game?
I'm maybe a little biased, but I'm gonna stick with my Tigers. But I do think it'll be closer than people think. I think 10 points, 14 points is where it's at. But I think the biggest thing though is A&M is one of those teams that's gonna hang around. But final vote, I'm going with the Tigers.
I definitely have to go with the Tigers too. Again, we're both from South Carolina, so it's probably a little bit of a biased opinion. But I think Clemson, just all around the better team, with Trevor Lawrence seeing the way he threw the ball on this past Saturday, I think that he's going to have an explosive game. Kelly Bryant is definitely going to come out, and he's going to try and perform. I think just all around, Clemson is going to run up this game. I think my final score is going to be 35. I'm going to go 35 to around 13.
13. So that's a pretty high score. I think A&M can score a little bit more than that. I'll stick with that 35. I'll steal that. But maybe 35-24 in that range. I think it's that 10-14. They're going to hang around. It's going to be 2 scores. I think they're going to hang around. I think the biggest thing in the first half, I think A&M is going to hang around because of the unknowns. Clemson doesn't know a whole lot about the offense. When you look at Mon, they don't really know about this team. They don't play A&M a lot. They know Jimbo Fisher. So, okay, so another big matchup in the state, like we mentioned, South Carolina, Georgia. Who you got, Spencer?
South Carolina, Georgia, I think for sure you got to go with Jake Fromm and the Georgia Bulldogs. I think this one is definitely going to be a little bit closer than expected, but I don't think by much. I feel like this is definitely going to be a double-digit game. I believe the defense is going to show up this game. I believe it's going to be 24 to maybe around 14.
I'm gonna go
12.
Gonna go with the Dogs. I think South Carolina can hang around. That's the biggest thing. I think both of these games are going to be amazing. And like I said, a lot of it's going to do with the crowd. I think it's going to be very similar to the Clemson game and the A&M game in how it's going to be really close. I feel like Georgia's going to pull away later in the game. And I feel like the big plays are going to be what hurts South Carolina because I think this Georgia offense is very big play capable. So finally, we got to mention it. Number 13, Stanford is going to host number 15, USC, the real USC out there in Southern California. So I'm going to go with Stanford in this one. I think the big players in both of these, look, JT Daniels, freshman quarterback for USC, and then Stanford, Bryce Love. Bryce Love is a Heisman contender, and he struggled last week. I think he's going to have a little extra momentum, a little extra push to him in this game because he wants that Heisman. He really does. And I think he knows that he needs a big-time performance when you look around the league, when you look at guys like Will Greer that put up big numbers and guys like that. So I think he needs a big week, and I think he will have one. I'm going to pick Stanford.
I definitely have to go with you with that one, Stanford. I think that's definitely the correct pick. But that's going to be the conclusion for this episode of the.
And I promise we won't pick all the same teams every week. I promise. Okay.
It's just this week. There's not much to pick and choose from. But that's going to conclude this episode of the Malton High School Broadcast Network. Episode 1, Part 3. Thank you for joining us here, and we'll see you back on the next one.